What's up guys, my name is Grover. Thank you for clicking on the video. Today I want to do an in-depth breakdown of a white belt tournament match. If you like what you see, I intend to do a lot more videos like this in the future, so please consider liking and subscribing. Let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start off with just a little bit of grip fighting and immediately going to pull close guard. And right from the get-go, notice how guy on bottom is posting with an arm into the shoulder / upper bicep area. Alright, and also the guy on top in guard has no posture. Alright, he's leaning completely over and he's not postured up. Alright, so what does that do? That brings his neck close to the opponent. So the opponent is posting into this arm so he can throw this leg over the right shoulder to set up for a triangle. So if someone's posting with a straight arm and closed guard and you're on top, you need to instantly take that as a hint that you need to posture because they're probably about to throw a triangle. Right, as we keep going, he grabbed his own arm and was trying to get it back into position. And right here, look, again, still, guy on bottom has a grip on the wrist. He's still controlling, and he's looking to bring his leg on the inside now. So you can still get triangled here. He can shoot his leg up and over the top, or if he can't get that, maybe he's trying to set up for spider guard or even like an omoplata on the opposite side. Okay. Now we're getting into spider guard, and the guy on bottom is trying to get a lasso, and there it is right there. Right, so he looped his foot through. His foot is now here in the rib area. His left hand has a grip on the right sleeve over here. All right, notice how the guy on top, he's still bent over here. Alright, he's not postured up, and he also has 1 foot down, 1 foot and 1 knee down, okay? So, a lot of his base is on this knee. Whenever you're in this position where the knee on the side of the lasso grip is down, you've got to be very, very careful because his knee is down, his hand is tied up with this lasso grip. So, he has nothing to post over to his right side if he were to be swept, okay? So just be aware, like, he's in a lot of danger here to be swept. Just some little details on this lasso grip. Notice how you can't see the hand, but what you want to do when you have the lasso grip is you want to turn your own palm towards yourself or towards the sky, kind of turning your knuckles into the grip itself, and you want to pinch your elbow to your side, alright, so that your grip is connected to your body as opposed to your grip just relying on your arm here. Because a good guy, or if this guy was like much stronger than the guy on bottom, he'd probably just try to rip out of this, alright, and it would kind of come down to who's stronger, with this arm being straight here and not necessarily tucked to the body. So just something to be aware of on your gripping. Alright, we'll finish the sweep, and we'll go back and see what just happened. Alright, so great sweep from the guy on bottom. When they have the lasso, you cannot pass to the opposite side without addressing this lasso grip. Alright, and especially like when it's a deep lasso where the foot is here behind the ribs. Okay, so notice the guy on top, he pushes the leg through right here, and now he's going to try to close the space between their hips. Alright, but watch, the guy on bottom, all he has to do is turn his knee to his left, alright, and then drive his shin into the bicep, and it's going to drive the shoulder to the mat, making it very easy to sweep him over. Okay, so if someone has this lasso, you cannot initiate this pass until you have dealt with this grip in some way. Another thing about this, great sweep. If you were the one playing with the lasso grip and you're doing the sweep, notice how this guy has a straight arm right here. This is really good. However, it's at the sleeve grip here. Alright, and there's slack between the grip and his wrist. Okay, the green gi. Alright. For this to be even more efficient, I would advise making like a C grip with your hand and posting it either right here in the bicep at the elbow or even in the armpit. All right. And still, this is what you want. You want a straight arm. However, instead of it being angled right here, I would look to do something more like a frame here or a frame here. Both with straight arm. Okay. Let's keep going. Good sweep though. And look, as soon as he got swept, he threw this arm between his legs, and now he's got a frame here on the other side of the neck. If someone's on the bottom of side control and they intentionally throw your arm in between their legs and then try to frame at your neck, they're probably trying to throw this outside leg over where their frame is at and hit up a triangle from the bottom. Okay? If he replaces this frame with the back of his left thigh, he can lock the triangle over this shoulder. Okay? So you either need to keep your head nice and tight, that way the leg can't come over, or you need to get your arm out. Okay? Luckily, he was able to get his arm out. And now he starts trying to recover guard. And then notice this position. The guy on bottom is doing a really good job of having his knee deep inside. Okay? However, he's hooking around the leg with his right arm, as opposed to it being a frame. Okay? Guy on top, looks like his hands are clasped together behind the neck. So he has got to be very careful himself, because notice how high his hips are. His hips are super high in the air right here. And he has nothing to frame with, or he would have to let go of his hands to frame over here to the left side if he were to get it rolled over. So the hips being super high puts you in a lot of danger of being swept over. Let's keep going. Got his arm out. Now he's starting to frame a little bit. He's still got his knee in. That's good. And gets swept here, right? So he almost got the pass. So watch it just one more time. Right here. As soon as he cleared the knee, he could not drop his hips down. Guy on bottom did a great job of posting. He actually has a hand framed right here on the other side of the leg, but it's like more in the hip area. Now, you can't see it, but guy on top, his left arm on this side was underneath the head. Alright, and it's still there, because he obviously didn't pull it out and post it to keep from being rolled over. And because his hips are already so high in the air, that's what is allowing the sweep to happen. Okay? So, good job by a guy on bottom. Good sweep. However, notice he failed to consolidate the position, right? Notice where his hips are. He's almost like in a north-south position. That's fine. His hand is here at the hip. That's good. However, you've got to anticipate the guy on bottom is going to try to recover his guard immediately by scooting away and bringing his knee inside. So this arm is in a great position to block the hip on the right side to prevent him from recovering his guard, to give you time to get your hips and your right knee in the correct position to be in side control. Okay, let's go for just a little bit. Right here, look. So he already got his knee in. However, if you're on top, if he had used his right hand and punched it to the mat in the same spot right next to the guy on bottom's hip, it would have prevented this knee from being able to come in like this. So now he's got to fight to get past the knee again. Guy on bottom's doing a good job with frames. He's already got his foot back in, and now he's recovered the guard. Looking for a knee slice pass. This is great. Look, good grip on the pants to push this leg out of the way. His right arm was not underhooked. He actually, lassoed. He had more of like an underhook type position. And now he's clearing this leg out of the way of his leg and his hips. When you're passing the guard, most of the time it's in a bit of a sequence. And sometimes the sequence happens all at the same time, like multiple steps. But you can break it down into, you have to get past your opponent's feet, you have to get past your opponent's knees, and then you have to consolidate the pass at the hips. Okay? And a lot of times, getting that last step is really the hardest, because they're going to be framing with their arms, coming up on their elbow, and trying to scoot their hips away to replace their knee or their foot. So by the time you get past the foot and the knee, a lot of times you kind of have to have some type of upper body control to really consolidate getting that last step of getting past the hips. Right? So he's still able to get his knee in. We're not past the guard yet. It's almost there. Guy on bottom's doing a good job. Notice you do got to be very careful. He was in a... Notice this arm positioning here. He's putting himself at risk of an arm triangle, right? The arm is already on this side of the neck. You do not want to let your left arm get pushed across your center line here to where the guy on top can start going for an arm triangle, okay? So just be aware of this. Now he's starting to put his arm back in a little bit of a safer position. He still has a frame in. It's good. He's still fighting. But I believe he got the points for the pass now. But notice, this grip, he pushed the leg away. And now you can't see it, but he's opening up space again in this gap. This whole passing battle has been a battle between the bottom knee and the top person's hips. All right? You have got to get your hips past the knee and then connect to your opponent's hips. That way they cannot get their knee in anymore. See, still not past the knee. Good job recovering. Half guard here. And now we're back to guard position. Right here, it looks like guy on top left his arm like inside the hip line. And guy on bottom was able to get this left leg over his face and starting to set up an arm lock. So you can't just lay on your opponent and have the arm like leaving your elbows within your opponent's hip lines like that. Or this is what happens. Alright, he tried to pull it out. Alright, so notice, what should he be doing right now? Right now he's on both knees. This is not good. This is not what you want. Alright, he needs to be using his legs to help himself get his arm free safely. A lot of times, if guys have a good bite on your elbow, if you just try to yank out of this, a lot of times you're just putting yourself into the arm bar itself. So, what he really needs to be doing is he needs to make a frame with his knee by posting his foot and angling it like this. Alright? Not having it straight up. Not straight up like this. Okay? But angled. That way he can use his knee to pressure into the hips and be like a bit of a backstop against the hips and his butt in order to pull his arm out. Right, so right here it's kind of straight. He's not really using his knee to get his arm free. He's just kind of standing. He gets lucky because the guy kind of loosened up on the elbow and he was able to get out. But notice, look, he still left his arm in. Right, this is how he got caught the first time, by leaving this elbow deep inside like this and just allowing the opponent to throw the leg over. Okay, he should already be seeing red flags and pulling that arm out. Alright, he's just staying here. This is just asking for an arm lock. I can't really see the grips. Maybe he thinks he's got a good grip. But, I mean, this is still dangerous. I mean, if anything, just stand up. Just stand up and get dominant grips instead of, having no posture and having your elbows inside, the hip line of your opponent like this. Now he starts to turn, which puts him at risk for the omoplata if his arm is still deep, which it was, right here. Almost gets caught in the omoplata. All right. At the higher level, you're not getting your elbow out from here because your opponent is going to have a good grip on your sleeve or the elbow itself, and they're going to lock up this omoplata. All right, but he gets lucky here and is able to get his arm out. All right, looks like Guy on bottom's going to go back to the lasso. It worked earlier in the match, so I think that's smart of him to go back to it. If you have a move that works on your opponent once, you might try it again. And look, he pretty much hits the same sweep. But again, just like I said earlier, notice this arm position. How it's bent at like this 90 degrees here, almost. If this was posted straight into the armpit, all right, or into the bicep with a straight arm instead of bent, there's no way the guy on top would be able to fight that post, okay? Notice how high his hips are on the guy on bottom, which means he can kind of still put some weight on him to try to fight being swept over. However, if you post straight into the armpit, you're pushing these hips off of you and making the sweep easier. And even if you don't get the sweep, notice he's posted on his hand here. And he's in a perfect position to where if he had a straight frame into the opponent, he can now scoot his hips back. Okay? Just like how you do butt scoots on the mat using a hand posted on the ground, he can scoot his hips out and recover his guard. And possibly even get up to the back and fight against the turtle position, even if he doesn't get this sweep. So this is a great position for him. Right, he's got a good hook here over the back, and now his opponent's arm is in front of his chest. This is really good for the guy in the white gi. If you're in the green gi and someone gets to this position on you, the immediate thought needs to be, man, you got to protect your back. Okay, this guy is winning right here in this position. So you've got to get this left elbow of yours that's in front of your opponent. You need to connect your elbow to your side. If you can connect your elbow, then you can hopefully wrap your arm around the opponent and have your own underhook, and then you can fight better from this position. You can't just leave your arm in front of your opponent while they're attached to your back like this. All right, so lucky for the guy in green, notice how instead of pulling his right knee behind him and looking to attack the back, he's got some grips around the head here, and the guy in white just kind of pushes him over. I think he was hoping he'd fall on his side. However, he doesn't land in a good position. Because notice, when he pushes back, his hips land directly on top of his opponent's hips. And his hands are clasped around the guy on bottom. If his right arm was free, he needs to be posting it on the mat here and then squaring his hips back up with the ground instead of them being straight up like this. Okay? This is why he's about to get rolled over. He has no post and his hips are vertical as opposed to parallel with the ground. So his are vertical, and the guy on bottoms are parallel with the ground. So he gets rolled right over. So continue moving. Great job capitalizing on that. It's leaving his arm in again. It's going for the arm lock again. All right. Nice attempt at hitting the leg drag. Again, that knee, that's where he's struggling, is getting past that knee. Good frame here. All right, right here. I'm pretty sure the guy in white is down on points right here. I don't think it's by much, though. I think it's probably only 3 points. I'm not sure how much time is left in the match, so that can all play a factor in people going for submissions and stuff. But it looks like he's wrapped around the neck here and tries to grab his own gi to potentially pull around the throat for kind of like a Hail Mary submission. You know, if you've only got 10 seconds left, then you got to do what you got to do. But, however, just know that stuff like this is very low percentage. And a much better use of this arm, instead of like trying to grab your own gi for something like this, would be, again, using an actual frame and posting either into the shoulder or the arm. Okay? Notice, this is actually a really good position for the guy on bottom to reverse the guy on top. Because we were just talking about the hip line just a second ago. Notice how this guy's hips, they're angled up. He's like right here on his side. He already has one really good frame. If you were to post a second really good frame, keeping the shoulder and the leg away from him, he can take advantage of this hip position by pushing his opponent this way. Moving his legs out of the way and then trying to force his opponent to his back and coming up on top. No, he went to frame this elbow, or he went to put this elbow on the ground as if he was going to sit up and start scooting out. Notice the grip position. I'm pretty sure guy on bottom's feeling the pressure from the time. He's really trying to hit a submission, although he has been this whole match. So, left hand is palm down, right hand is palm up, just like how you grab a baseball bat. So he's looking to set up a baseball bat choke here. So if the guy on top comes to his knees, if he's not careful and he leaves his head up and his neck exposed, guy on bottom's going to turn away from him and look to sink this choke in. Right here, look, notice how much space is between his chest and his neck. He's coming up to his knees, and this guy is already starting to turn over to his left shoulder. And he's looking to sink this choke in. Right here, this is really good. Look at it. This arm is straight and acts as it's blocking off the carotid artery on his right side of his neck. And then his right arm is framed over here on the gi. Notice how he's opening this elbow up. This choke can be kind of tricky. You got to really work on it. If you're interested in this choke, pretty much one of the best guys ever to really specialize on this is a black belt named Majid Hage. You can look him up, and he hits high-level black belts with this all the time. Has a match where he got mounted and tapped the guy with this choke. So if you ever want a good guy to look at for this choke, that's who I would look at. He gets a sweep out of it. That's fantastic. His guard was passed already, so he doesn't get points for that. However, he should get points for a submission attempt if he loses the position here. He's still going for it, right? If he's down on time, all right, I mean, this is probably the best bet he's got if he's only got a few seconds left. However, just know that if you continue to lose this, he might need to consolidate a different position, which we're going to see. Notice right here, he's still going for it. But look, his opponent is now starting to turtle up. He's getting his hips and his knees underneath him, and he's going to come up. And now the choke is gone. And the position is reset. Okay? So you have to learn to recognize, and this really just comes with experience, when your submission is gone. Okay? The submission has gotten him a lot already. It got him the top position and a dominant position at that. So if he were to just let go of these grips right now, he's in top side control. And if he still has 30 seconds or a minute to work, that's time to work from a dominant position. So you have to learn to recognize when your submission is gone, and you need to take what it's already given you instead of trying to force a submission that is no longer there. Right? Still kind of there, but at this point right here, it's basically gone. And now look, now it's neutral position, and he lost all the advantage he had for it. If anything, he might get points for the attempted submission, but he gets nothing else out of that. Good posture here. Guy on bottom's going to try to break this posture. He's tried to break that grip with one hand. But now look, he's reaching for this arm here. Notice this elbow placement, okay? The center line of the guard player is like right here. You never want your elbow crossing that center line like this, especially with no posture, okay? If your posture is broken down and your elbows start going across the center line, this is how you get submitted, this is how you get swept, this is how you get your back taken, okay? Winding down on time. Guy on bottom is probably just going to try to hold him here. And it's time. Nice. It's a good match from these guys. It's really unfortunate. Guy on white, he was very active looking for a lot of submissions. He did a great job continuing to get his knee back inside to recover his guard, which you could see the guy in the green gi, that's what he was really struggling with, was getting past that knee to complete the pass. That's the match, guys. Hope you liked it. Again, if you've got something from this, I intend to do a lot more videos like this in the future. Please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.